So I can be a bit of an arse. I I know that, and if you know me, you probably know that too. But let me sort of tell you a story of how how I've been a bit of an arse recently. So I was talking to one of my friends, and he's the kind of guy who is constantly in need of a creative outlet. And fortunately, I'm also one of those people who is constantly in need of a creative outlet. Like, between the pair of us, we really are a problem, because it is the case that we're constantly like, hey, dude, let's do this. No, let's do this. Okay, how would you boast those things in a new way that's like, we're terrible. It's the case that we have a lot of ideas, and we do a lot of dreaming, and we don't necessarily come through with the goods all the time. If you followed any of the sort of creative stuff that I've done in the past, you know that I've picked up a fair few projects, and they haven't really continued for a long period of time, because they've been things that I've wanted to see if I could do. I found out that yeah, I could do them, not necessarily to a standard that kind of not necessarily to the kind of quality level that I want, and then I kind of drop them after a while. The nice thing about that is the fact that if you do decide to listen to this podcast, it's not a very long term commitment. You'll probably get 5 of them. But the kind of conversations me and this dude have are just dreams, ideas, just things that we think will be cool and entertaining. And in one of these discussions, I mentioned podcasts. It was the case that I was like, we could do this. We could easily do a podcast. It's just chatting shit. We love chatting shit. We could chat shit with a microphone. Ta-da, there's a podcast. And what really caught me off guard was his response, which, for all intents and purposes, was just no. He explained to me that everyone and their dog is making a podcast. As a brief segue, if there is a podcast which is just somebody's dog, you need to link me that. And if there isn't, there is a gap in the market that you need to fill. Anyway, everyone's making a podcast, and he explained that even locally, there's so many like creative people with really strong opinions, with a really good insight into different sort of areas of, say, the music scene, that there's no real need for me to throw my hat into the ring as well, or for us to throw our hats into the ring, because it's just saturated. It's just full. We've just missed the boat. And more broadly speaking than that, it's the case that, I mean, there's so many podcasts. It would be impossible to even ingest all the absolutely fantastic, high budget, high quality podcasts in a week. You just couldn't do it. There's no point. There's better places to focus your creative energy. This market is full. The boat has set sail. Don't do it. See, I told you I'm an arse. Because in that moment that I was told no, I decided that I needed to make a podcast. Well, until I've tricked anyone into joining me, I should probably tell you about me. So hi, my name's Mikey. I'm 28. I come from a sleepy town called Flick. It's less swish and flick and more we have a Tesco's and a train station. That's about all that's going for us. I say that, but actually we have so many pubs. So that's kind of rad. That's pretty cool. That's all we got, so we better appreciate it. That's here. That's my hometown summarized. That was quick. I'm really worried this is going to turn into like a bit of a Tinder bio. Like, I like long walks on the beach and a good novel, and I like it when vocalists go blurg or when the cymbals go to halftime, so you know that shit's about to get fucked up. I'm in a metalcore band called The Hero Dies First, and being in a metalcore band is amazing, because if you meet anyone else in a metalcore band, every person in a metalcore band spends half their time explaining that it's not actually a metalcore band. Like, I appreciate that it's got the shouts from hardcore, and sonically it sounds very metal, but it's not. It's post-metalcore, or it's post-hardcore, or it's melodeath, or it's this, that, and the other. I'm just like, why is that a thing? Like, why is what subgenre you're in that important? Like, dude, it's got those gent influences. Gent. I clearly put me in front of a microphone and I lose the ability to talk. You know, gent. Are you aware of the work of gent? Is my favorite subgenre. It's onomatopoeia for the from the sound of the guitar. It gents. But like, for real, come on. A metal band's a metal band's a metal band, and whatever subgenre you're in, you just figure it out as you go. Like, whatever. Is it that important? Clearly it is. Clearly it's important to me as well, because I'm banging on about it. But that's a whole thing. That's a whole thing that clearly I don't understand, that I would love to talk to someone about. Not necessarily on a podcast, not even necessarily musically. I think I need to talk to a different kind of professional to deal with my problem with subgenres. So I'm in a metalcore band, and at the danger of almost definitely repeating myself, I'm into video games, films, music, and like all kinds of music as well. I can happily sit and talk about some disgusting grindcore, sludgy, just pit riff. But in reality, I spent half my time listening to like Japanese, I'm gonna say like kind of piano-y, proggy band. This is the problem with subgenres. It's very difficult to explain. But like, I enjoy weird tunings and weird time signatures done in a way that's actually like nice and not just like mental. That's my genre of choice. Like, a bit math rocky, but in a way that doesn't come across too pretentious. Ironically, that sentence in itself sounds super fucking pretentious. So here's one thing that I really would like to do. I would really, really, really like to put on other people's songs. I'd like to do a little segment, chat shit about something. I need to stop using the phrase chat shit, otherwise I will get banged, and I don't know what's wrong with me. This is clearly not my forte, or at least I'm going to need some practice. But I'd like to have like a little talking head piece, and then put a song on, like something that maybe people have heard, maybe something that people haven't heard, but exclusively stuff from local bands, or at least people who'll be like, yeah, dude, you can use our music for free, to help them build an audience of both the people who are listening to this, and because it's like free, and free's like exactly my budget. Yeah, I think that would be cool. I'm super tempted to bang a Hero Dies First song in here, but maybe I'll save it to the end. It just feels a bit gross for the first podcast. You know what I mean? Like episode 1, here's my band. It was all building up to this. It's my band. Maybe this will just be a half an hour ad for ANIMUS by The Hero Dies First, the new EP featuring tracks like, maybe it is. Also, I should probably talk about the actual name for this podcast, because I've called it ANIMUS, and it's like, so the EP that The Hero Dies First, like the EP that my band just dropped, was Animus. And it means a couple of different things, like animating spirit. So it's about heart. It's about getting up and doing things. And like, I'm sure I can dig out a dictionary definition of animus if so required. If it's the case that you need me to explain exactly what the word means, then we can do that. But like, I picked it because it was a cool and punchy word, and because I couldn't find another podcast that was just called Animus. And also, it's kind of like, it sounds a little bit like two words smashed together. And if you've been paying attention to what I've been talking about so far, you can kind of guess. You can kind of guess what those words are. But, I mean, we've already done you know what really grinds my gears? I don't know why I didn't go for Peter Griffin and instead went more for Marcus Phoenix, because Gears of War. I hate these like compound words, like Brexit. Like, I can't remember which comedian said it, but it sounds like it sounds like a cereal that you have in the morning to help you with your movements. Like, it's just, compound words suck. Like, I've never heard two words jammed together and been like, you know what, that's really clever. Oh my goodness, how did you come up with that on your own? So I don't know why I've just used that as a rationale for why I've picked this as the name for this podcast. Huh. Yeah. I should explain to you a little bit about this setup as well and what I'm doing, because it will kind of inform you a little bit about the format and why I'm rambling so much. So, I figured I'd do this janky. Like, I like a janky setup. I like something that is just thrown together and you can just use it anywhere. So this is me iPad. I've got an adapter and a Blue Snowball microphone. And if you know microphones, you know that the Blue Snowball is not a good piece of equipment. Like, at all. Like, if you ask somebody who's like an online gamer, they'll be like, no dude, like the Yeti's probably the one you need. It's just the clarity of that audio. Like, no dude, it's not a proper microphone. Like, let's not even pretend. But it does plug into my tablet, so that's enough. And I'm using an app called Anchor. And what Anchor lets me do is it lets me record segments. And if you were like, hey, this seems easy, he's making it seem easy because he's not doing it very well. If you want to make your own podcast, then you can download Anchor and do these little segments and slice it all together, whack the music on top, hurrah, you're away. But because of the way the app works, you kind of do your take and that's it. Like, I'm sure I could probably find a way to cut this up into smaller segments, but then the music would be kind of all over the place. So I'm just hitting record and I'm just kind of rolling. So if I'm stuttering, if I'm doing long awkward pauses, that's kind of because, I mean, this chunk has just been, this bit's been 5 minutes and 8 seconds continuous recording, so any mistakes just kind of have to stay. That being said, I don't want to put you off. Like, it's a cool app and there are others out there, and if you're going to do this properly, you probably shouldn't use an app, and you probably should use something like, even free software like Reaper. But you could do this right now on your phone. I'm just putting out that you don't need an external microphone at all. You could just start today. Like, you could just start today. I'm gonna have to like pre-warn you. There's gonna be a lot. There's gonna be a lot of that. There's gonna be a lot of me going, "Oh, you can do it. Like, persevere, and you will succeed." Because I like hearing that. I think that's it. I think it's because I really appreciate it when I'm watching any kind of like content media, and they take a moment to be like, you could be doing this right now. Especially like if I'm enjoying it, if I'm like really in the flow of it, and they're like, this could be you. You could be jet skiing around the world with your camera and like whatever it is that you want to succeed at. Sometimes when you're on your way to work, especially if you're not looking forward to the day you're going to have. Sometimes when you're just moping about the house, sometimes when you know you've got shit to do and you're not getting around to it, sometimes it's just really nice to get that little, like, you know, you could always, you know, that, you know, like your dream, you could just do that. Because, like, it's always going to be fucking impractical. It's always going to be the case that, oh, it's pretty hard, actually. Like, for me, I would give at least 3/4 of my left arm, which is my dominant arm, to be a voice actor. That's my overall goal. We'll talk about that plenty. There's plenty of time for us to talk about, because for some people they'll be like, "What the fuck? I thought you wanted to be a vocalist in a metal band. Like, what?" You can have more than one dream. That's fine. Don't worry about that. But yeah, I just think you should go and do that thing that you want to do, and that thing that you've been putting off doing. And I'm going to be that guy that nags you about it, and that's going to be really off-putting and obnoxious. And there's times where it's going to be a bit cringy, and just a bit gross. I'm going to be a bit gross about it, but I'm not sorry. And if you're not telling you that you need to do it, and your friends aren't reminding you that you need to do it, you can count on me to really fucking drive it home. And even after you've been like, fine, I'll do it, I'm still gonna nag. And even after you're like, I'm doing it, I'm living my dream, I'm still gonna fucking nag. There's still gonna be something else. Keep persevering. Keep going. Like I say, I'm gonna be a pain. I'm not sorry. That's something you can expect from these little recordings.